Hello, my name is Bianca, and I will be presenting about Chapter 1, Visual Analysis on Poster Art in Mao's China.
This first image is called The Smashing of the Old Society, and it speaks and comments on the current events in society during the Communist Revolution. In this image, we see that there are elements of new order being constructed. In the background, there is a parade or rally of Communist Party supporters, and there are men on ladders repairing or altering public signs, as well as the star symbol seen in the upper right-hand corner, which represents the Chinese Communist Party, and it shows the communist state is at work unifying the people in support of the state and its teachings, as well as implanting communist ideas into the minds of the uninformed and unconverted public. During this time period, the Communist Party is seeking to destroy the oldest world for the good of everyone. This means destroying any ideals or material things that would have an impact on the communist community. Things that represent the old world would be things such as statues of Christ and Buddha, which represent religion, dices that represent gambling and immoral or wicked behavior in general, phonographic records that would represent music, mainly Western music. All these things can be seen on the down left corner, about to be destroyed by a hammer-like object. But this effort to destroy the old world and the supposed well-being of the general public is not all that true, because it would affect those that practice religions or those who make a living off criminal activities such as drug dealings and etc., as well as those who work in the entertainment business or industry. An interesting thing to note is how the artist is able to visually distinguish between the old and the new. The old is represented by the color black, while the red is representative of the new. Along with this, the artist is able to share a statement in how or what has to be done once someone joins or supports the Communist Party. The male figure is depicted with the color black, but he wears a red band on his arm, which is symbolic or symbolizes his newfound support for the Communist Party. But in order to support the Red Party, he must destroy anything that does not relate or support communist ideals. Only then would one be protecting oneself and society from any sort of exposement to the old elements, such as vice and religion. Only then would one be able to bring order to society, which is shown in the background, with figures actively embracing the revolution. The second image is called Building the New Society, the People's Commune. In this image, the appealing features of commune life and a communistic future are illustrated. One of the many appealing features depicted would be the vast production or harvest fields, as well as the new and developed infrastructures such as the dam, which is seen in the background. Another appeal would be the industrial enterprises, or businesses, and a well-ordered or organized village, with built-in communal centers for eating, washing clothes, caring for children, or for simply socializing. This image simply produces a sense of harmony throughout the village, where everyone and anyone can go about their daily routine in peace and independently, which is ideally something that attracts all sorts of people, not just families. But the actual outcomes of the commune movement departed radically from their idealistic goals. The ongoing idea that there had to be some sort of division between the industrial cities and the rural countryside was something that Mao wanted to challenge, which is why this image illustrates his effort to bring those two things together. We see this by the placement of the industrial buildings with the smokestacks or chimneys and the three iron smelting furnaces in the upper right-hand corner, next to the large vast fields, river or lake. But this does not mean that the outcomes of this supposed dreamland were all that positive. The creation of these communes caused there to be an economic disruption, and this contributed a great deal to the enormous famines of the late 1950s, in which millions would die in. The efforts to involve the peasants in iron and steel production through the creation of the backyard furnaces, which is seen in the image, proved to be a failure, because most of the metal that would be produced in these facilities were of poor quality and basically unusable. And this further impoverished the rural areas, as people would be encouraged to donate their pots and pans and anything of iron for the smelting furnaces.
This third image is called Women and Nature and Industrialization. In this image, we see illustrated core values of Maoist communism, like human mastery or specialization over natural order, as well as rapid industrialization and the liberation of women from ancient limitations and oppressions in order to mobilize them for the task of building socialism. And this is reflected in the image by the woman working as a stonemason, which is usually a job typically done by a male and dominated by males. The large construction location symbolizes rapid industrialization, and the time setting is also important because working at night indicates mastery or specialization over natural order. And the lights that illuminate the nighttime work setting suggests work and production are of more importance than anything else, more so than leisure and or ensuring a traditional family. It is important to understand the other messages expressed through this. The young woman is being portrayed as a confident and skilled worker who is focused on her work and is happy and content, which is usually not thought of when it comes to women in the workforce at the time. Another thing to notice is her clothing and the shape of her forearms, and the general absence of a feminine figure. Her being portrayed in sexless fashion or clothing allows for the shift of focus from the issue of gender to how the communist attitude towards sexuality is now challenging traditional gender roles and opening the doors for others, to a point in where workers will no longer be regarded by their gender. This image emphasizes the woman's role as a worker while bringing less focus to her feminine features, therefore showing that the Communist Party wishes to remove or limit any sort of distinctions in the workplace between males and females, because they want to fully integrate women into the workforce. The work the young woman is doing is significant because the job of a stonemason is a profession typically and traditionally dominated by men, and it is a job that requires hard physical labor, which is traditionally considered to be a task beyond a woman's physical capabilities. However, due to the lack of women taking or having high or powerful positions in society at the time, the spreading of this idea or intention of full gender equality in a workplace environment was basically impossible to fully establish. This fourth image is called the Cult of Mao, and in this image we see the relationship between Mao and his young followers. The image shows a relationship of affection and a hero or idol-like worship from Mao's young followers. This relationship almost seems to resemble something that is religious, due to how Mao is seen as a friendly and approachable leader or teacher, and also due to the extreme admiration and praise that he gets from his young followers. Plus, the Red Treasured Book, which is like the writings of other religious leaders, and it offers a guide to how one should live one's life. Note the presence of the Red Book in the hands of all of Mao's followers. This is significant because it reflects the importance in the movement, and it emphasizes its role as a moral guide for his followers and the youth, and it also represents the wisdom of Mao. In this image, one sees the unbridled enthusiasm expressed by the Red Guards, who are his followers, which was the result of the cult-like following Mao had, partly due to images like this one encouraging others to follow along as well. People were inspired by Mao's teachings found in his Red Treasured Book, and were also enthusiastic about the education of the youth. This image portrays the realities of these rallies with considerable accuracy, but this not only applies to Mao's large following. Similar cases of mass enthusiasm can be seen with popular nationalist leaders like Gandhi and spiritual leaders like popes and like other political leaders like Hitler, for example.